The stage lights flashed, cameras rolled relentlessly, and thousands of eyes were glued to one seemingly perfect moment, until everything changed in a matter of seconds. The most glamorous awards night in the Chinese entertainment industry suddenly became tense as the grand winner, Wang Yibo, accepted his trophy and then walked off the stage faster than anyone expected. There was no long smile for the cameras, no emotional speech as usual. Just brisk steps, a cold expression, and a silence that seemed louder than the cheers. What was really going on behind the glitz of the Weibo Awards that night? And why did his departure spark a storm of speculation that immediately erupted on social media? Seconds after he left the stage, the audience at the venue may not have fully realized the strangeness. But the online world moved much faster. Short video clips began circulating, zoomed in, slowed down, and analyzed frame by frame. Netizens began to notice his body language, a stiff facial expression, a smile that lasted only a split second, and hand gestures that seemed to rush through formalities. To the casual viewer, it might have simply seemed like an artist exhausted after a busy schedule. But to his loyal fans, something felt off. They've known their idol long enough to know that award ceremonies are typically a time for them to show utmost respect for the show and their fans. When that behavior differs, they're sure there must be a reason behind it. The first speculation stemmed from a seemingly trivial detail: the seating arrangement. Photos from inside the venue showed the celebrities' seating arrangements, and some fans began comparing who sat where, how close to the stage, and who was assigned which row. In Chinese entertainment, seating arrangements aren't just logistics, they're symbols of status, popularity, and industry connections. The discussion escalated when Zhan's name was brought up. Fans noticed that the expected interaction between the two superstars seemed minimal, even awkward, according to some. Their relationship has long been a sensitive topic in the fandom, so any small detail could easily become the subject of major speculation. Chinese social media exploded. Hashtags related to the incident immediately trended, garnering millions of comments in a short time. Some defended, some criticized, and still others tried to calm the situation with rational explanations. But in a storm of public opinion, emotions often outweigh the facts. Some fans argued that the sudden departure was a silent protest, a subtle message against perceived unfair treatment. They interpreted his expression as a sign of disappointment, even suppressed anger. This theory spread widely because it fit a dramatic narrative that easily captured attention. On the other hand, others considered the reaction overblown. They pointed out that award shows have tight schedules, and artists often have to move quickly due to other commitments. Without an official statement, all speculation is simply subjective interpretation of brief footage. But it is precisely this ambiguity that fuels the controversy. When there is no direct clarification, the room for speculation becomes limitless. Every small gesture is analyzed, every photo is magnified, and every expression is interpreted as having hidden meaning. The modern entertainment industry thrives on public perception. In the digital age, a single moment in a few seconds can shape a narrative that lasts for days, even weeks. For an artist of Wang Yibo's stature, the pressure is compounded because his every action is under the microscope of millions of fans. Interestingly, some industry observers see this incident as a reflection of power dynamics in the entertainment world. Seating position, performance order, speech length, all can be symbols of an unspoken hierarchy. When these symbols are perceived as unbalanced, public reaction can be very strong. There are also psychological factors that are rarely discussed. Award ceremonies are not just about glamour, but also about high mental pressure. Artists must perform flawlessly in front of the camera, manage their emotions, maintain their image, and remain professional even when facing uncomfortable situations behind the scenes. Several witnesses at the scene said that the atmosphere backstage was generally normal. There were no open altercations or obvious conflicts. However, in an industry steeped in diplomacy, tensions often don't manifest themselves explicitly in public. Meanwhile, diehard fans on both sides of the fandom began arguing. What initially began as a discussion about an awards show turned into a debate about fandom identity, loyalty, and the history of relationships between artists. This phenomenon demonstrates how celebrities can become emotional symbols for fan communities. Entertainment media also amplified the story. Sensational headlines emerged, each trying to offer a different interpretation of what happened. Within hours, a fleeting moment had turned into a national drama online. But amid all the noise, one question remained. Was there really a conflict, or was it all just a result of overblown public perception? Without direct confirmation, the truth may be much simpler than many imagine. For Wang Yibo himself, silence may be a strategy. In the world of celebrity, not every rumor needs to be answered. Sometimes, letting a controversy die down is the safest option for long-term image preservation. But for fans, the silence often feels like an unsolved mystery. They continue to search for clues from old interviews, new gestures, to subsequent public interactions, hoping to find answers that satisfy their curiosity. The events of that night served as a reminder that behind the spotlight and glamour, the entertainment world remains rife with human complexity, egos, pressures, expectations, and perceptions. What appears simple on screen often harbors much deeper layers. Over time, public attention began to shift from asking what happened to asking, how did something so small explode so big? This phenomenon highlights the fragile boundary between reality and perception in modern celebrity culture. When millions of people are connected in a shared digital ecosystem, collective emotions can form from just a few seconds of video footage. Narratives then grow on their own, often transcending the actual facts. Some pop culture analysts see this incident as a classic example of how fandom functions like a community of identity. Fans not only support artists, but also feel a personal emotional connection to them. When their idols appear to have been treated unfairly, even if it's only a perceived injustice, the reaction can be powerful, as if they themselves have experienced the injustice. At that point, the controversy is no longer about the award show, but about loyalty and protection for the figures they admire. On the other hand, there are important lessons for the entertainment industry. Transparency and communication are more crucial now than ever. In an era where every cell phone camera can record and every netizen can be a commentator, the gray area is almost non-existent. Silences that might have once been considered elegant can now be interpreted as signs of hidden trouble. The entertainment world is changing, and public expectations are changing with it. And perhaps the truth isn't about the chairs, the interactions between the stars, or the awards themselves. Perhaps it's simply about one man enduring a long night under the constant spotlight, while the world tries to interpret his every move. Ultimately, the mystery of that brief departure from the stage demonstrates the greatest power of the modern entertainment industry. One small moment can create a big story. And as long as the public is curious, that story will live on, growing, and being talked about long after the stage lights go out.